I do want to talk more about Nota. So can you tell us a little bit more about Nota and some of the features that allow it to stand out from other banking solutions, specifically, obviously, for attorneys?
I mean, before I get into the product, it starts with the service. You can have the best product out there. I believe that. But if you don't have the best service,
Hmm.
you're going to diminish the value for your customers. So before we get into the roadmap, I mean, one thing that I'm most proud of is that, we've been able to recruit and retain experienced bankers that are now specialists when it comes to legal, right? Generally, if you walk into any bank, any size, whether that's your local credit union or any of the large national banks, you're going to talk to the same banker that talks to, services and ice cream business or, a plumbing business, a large manufacturing business. For the most part, it's the same people. And there are some intricacies with legal, as we will talk about. And so the advantage with speaking with our team and getting that concierge service, which comes with every single Nota account, is that you get a dedicated banker no matter what size you're in, right? A lot of banks will not give you a dedicated concierge service unless you're doing $2 million in revenue. That is, zero with Nota. And we also have the most transparent, the most simple fees in the business. All of our products are free. And the reason they are, I'm not allowed to say free because for regulatory purposes, they're at no extra charge, right? So in other words, like what your, the banking business model, for those of you that are not familiar, largely has to do with deposits, lending, and payment processing, right? So you store the deposits, there is net interest income that comes from it. And so attorney clients are very so we want to bank with them, and we believe that we can bank them better than anyone else because that's our sole focus. One amazing thing about M&T as a bank is that M&T has been, continues to be a bank for communities, right? It's a community bank, and the legal industry, we view the legal industry as one of those communities we decided to double down on and invest in, right? And so that enables us, that focus enables us to build a roadmap that is very personalized and specific for attorneys. Like we've talked about at the beginning of the podcast, we found that solo and small firms, which, in our estimation, there are about 750,000 attorneys nationwide. And, out of that 750, 500,000 of them are solos, right? Just to give everyone a sense of the fragmentation in the market. It's like you said, people that want to have a good lifestyle, have a living, they don't want to kill themselves and make $1 billion business, which is nothing wrong with that. 90% of us, 95% of us would be thrilled to have that kind of a lifestyle and that lifestyle design. But the challenge is, given the complexity and the high stakes with IOTA, you can get disbarred if you don't properly manage your clients' funds. And unfortunate thing is there's a lot of ambiguity around, hey, do I need an IOTA? Do I need to, what if I structure it this way? The bottom line is risks are too high, right? That lifestyle we talk about, right? Like that 90% of us strive to have, you can put that at risk. And there's plenty of examples that if you don't manage the funds properly, you're going to end up getting disbarred. Problem is, majority of the solutions out there are not fully integrated and are not simple to use, right? So you've got two categories, and I don't want to, kind of say anything overly negative about all the solutions out there, but largely that's the white space that we found ourselves. So that's where we saw the opportunity, right? On one hand, you have providers that are kind of trying to do it on the side. It's not fully integrated with your bank account. And on the other hand, you have other solutions out there that really try to help you with their trust account reconciliation, but it's like 50 times more complex than what you need as an attorney. Right. So that simplicity becomes easy. So if you're a CPA, you're going to use a certain accounting software and, you'll be fine. Right. But the problem is most attorneys are not CPAs and they don't want to be ones. Right. Like it's just, you don't go to law school to learn accounting. You just don't. And so as a result, we've created a very elegant, simple solution with trust account reconciliation that attorneys can manage that themselves. Larger law firms, and this is what we end up finding out, Nick, is that, most attorneys, they work for medium to large law firms, and then they, hang their shingle and start their practice. And they're like, holy moly, I didn't have to do it there because we have this big back office, a team of accountants, etc. And now I got to do it. And it's like, oh, shoot, like the risks are too high. So I'm going to do it myself, right? So what ends up happening is that now you're spending several hours a week trying to do it yourself. You're not sure if you're doing it right. You're not fully reconciled. So that's what Nota tried to do from the beginning. We spent a year and a half working very closely with the community of our attorneys. And we're very fortunate that the users at Nota are very engaged with us because they realize we're building a bank for attorneys together, right? So we have a very open communication. They have a lot of say about the features and new products that we roll out. And if an issue comes up next week, that's already, in most cases, it's already in production, right? And that's very powerful. That goes back to the service. So we started with IOTA, trust account reconciliation. I talked enough, guys. It's a problem. Don't let someone tell you that it's not. A lot of times people don't realize they need to have an IOTA account. They're running a lot of those transactions through an operating account. That is a mistake, right? That's you're sitting on a lot of risk, and we bankers know a thing or two about risk, and you don't want to carry that risk going forward, right? And so whether that's Nota or otherwise, like make sure you have an IOTA account, right? And then the second piece that now we're kind of moving into is the money movement element across. We call it 3 money hubs, right? You recognize the funds from the IOTA account. You move that to the operating. From operating, you pay yourself to your business, to your consumer checking account. So having the ability to have that expense categorization, transaction categorization, have that clarity and transparency within your financial system, we believe is a core of our value proposition.